Will I ever have straight hair? We'll have to wait and see. Hey everyone, so I've been gone for quite a bit. I think the last video that I posted was in March and it was my St. Patrick's Day tutorials, and since then I've kind of just like fell off. I've obviously been posting photos on Instagram and stuff like that, and Snapchat as well. Overall with YouTube, I've just been completely gone. I kind of wanted to use this video to explain why. It's not anything too dramatic. I just want to just put on makeup, kind of explain my absence. It's nothing like too serious. It's just like something that I think a lot of us could relate to when it comes to school and stress and just trying to balance work life and then friendships and relationships, and also like what we do for fun and our hobbies. And to me, YouTube is a hobby and it's not a priority. It kind of fell to the back burner with regards to just like my everyday life and what I found to be the most important, and it didn't make me happy to kind of let YouTube fall to the back burner of my life, but it just had to happen, and that's what I thought was necessary in order to get my life together. Most of it had to do with my studies, and not that I am a bad student by any means, but I think that underestimated how my semester at school would go. So yeah, let's just like discuss how this semester went. Right before I posted my St. Patrick's Day videos, I was very stressed because it was like, I believe right before midterms. No, yeah, it was like right after it, because the following week after I posted that was spring break and I got to go home for a week. And what's funny about that is I thought I would go home with all of my equipment, which I did do. And yeah, I brought all my equipment home thinking that I would use everything and just record a video talking about like what had been going on and why it was like so much time between videos, because I posted that St. Patrick's Day look like the day of St. Patrick's Day and then at like 10 o'clock at night when everybody was already out getting drunk. So, but I wanted to at least get it up just because I thought it was really good what my idea was, but the way that it was executed was like a struggle. And I don't want to talk about that video too much because it's not like I think it was a bad video or anything like that, but it's just interesting how like I had this whole idea and I had wanted to record it for weeks and I had other video ideas in mind to record, but I recorded that video the day of St. Patrick's Day, like right before my 2 o'clock class, because that's the only class that I had on Friday. And then it didn't get posted till 10 o'clock at night, and I had planned on filming that video like weeks in advance, and it just never happened. And it was just really interesting how that went down. It was just kind of frustrating. I'm like, no, I'm trying to have fun, and I feel like I can't because of all my midterms and everything like that. I went into this semester, it is my second to last semester. I will be trying to graduate in December, and I'm pretty sure that that will happen. Like, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be graduating in December, and then I will be able to walk with all of my classmates in May. So yeah, I took this semester thinking that it was going to be a light situation because I was taking classes that had nothing really to do with my major. They were just kind of like filler classes that had a little bit to do with my major but weren't requirements. The only requirement that I had to take was a senior seminar, and then my minor requirements, unfortunately, like they were all full by the time that I wanted to take them. So I was like, okay, I'll finish my major and just take a bunch of random classes to fill up my time that will give me a decent amount of credits so that I could graduate early, because you need a minimum number of credits no matter what. And then I would take those, and then I would have a good time and only have one stressful class, which is my senior seminar. That did not occur. It was actually quite stressful. It just like, it confused me that these classes that I was taking for no reason were the ones that wound up being the most stressful, that I struggled with. I took an online class, which I basically forgot about most of the time because I didn't have to go to an actual class. All that I needed to do was just do an assignment during the week, and then the following week would be a quiz, and that's how it really went for weeks and weeks and weeks. And that unfortunately was the one class that I wasn't doing well in. And it was an online introductory class to a subject that I knew a little bit about already, because it had a little bit to do with my major, but it just wound up completely biting me in the ass, and I didn't do well in that class. And when I say I didn't do well, I got an A-. And the other 4 classes that I took, yes, 4, I took 5 classes, I took 17 credits, and the other 4 classes that I took, I got an A in. But when I tell you I struggled, and people will hear my grades and not understand. Like, what did you struggle with? And it's like, even if I do get good grades in the class, like, you need to work a certain amount so you could get those grades, no matter what. And people don't realize that because people think that if you've always been a good student, then you don't need to try as hard. And that's not what it is. Like, I'm still taking difficult classes. I took a senior level course as a junior. Like, everybody in my class was a senior and was 21 or older, and I was the only 20-year-old in there, and I had to fight to be in the class because we're not allowed to be in those classes as juniors. And I wound up probably doing the best because everybody came to class unprepared, was a complete jerk-off, and I was there stressed out of my mind every single day. We had to read a novel a week, and these people, like, did not give a shit about it, and they were graduating. And then there's me, who has another semester left here, that cared maybe too much than I should have. My senior seminar wound up being like the easiest A that I ever got, and even then it was still a journey and a half. So I don't know, it just pissed me off that I'm always the one that's working so hard, and I am still so stressed out all the time. You know, I don't want this to be a rant, but it is kind of frustrating that that happened to me. I dedicated so much time to my studies when I really probably shouldn't have, and I sacrificed actual things that I wanted to do, which is YouTube and recording tutorials. And now I am here, 3 months later, I've been gone from YouTube, and it's depressing. And there's so much that I wanted to do. I wanted to do a prom tutorial. Most people have had their prom already, and if not, it's in 3 days, and I ran out of time. I wanted to do, seasonal tutorials. I had a whole idea for, inspired by the sun, where I was going to do looks that were inspired by nature in the spring season. And I can still do that, obviously, because it's not based on either spring or summer, and I could still do it. I just feel like, I could have done so much already. I have pictures that I have saved from the beginning of April that were going to be inspo for it, and it's just I look at those pictures and it's depressing how my whole life just kind of flashed before me after this whole semester, and I don't have much time left to do what I wanted to do. I don't know. It's just depressing because I hate school. And I'm always trying so hard at school. And it's just one of those oxymoronic things that nobody gets. People are like, why do you try so hard if you don't like it? And that's because I know that I need it. I'm not one of those people that's been working since they were 14, off the books, has her whole life in front of her. I know people that had a job straight out of high school and didn't even have to go to college. But for me, it's all I have is my education and my mental capacity and my intelligence, and I need to expand on that in the best way that I can. And you know what? I love to learn, and I love learning new things. I love people that put pressure on me to read new books and read new texts because, I would never be able to find these resources on my own. It would take a lot of work and a lot of effort. And college just makes it so easy to see all of these things right in front of you. And yeah, you have to pay a lot of money for it, but it's so worth it in the end. But what really bothers me is that it triggers my anxiety to umpteenth levels, and it makes me depressed because I am so anxious. Like this whole semester, especially after I recorded my last video that I did, I was just locked in my room. 2 of my friends had gone to study abroad. I had a new roommate that was younger than me, and she's an amazing person, a great relationship as roommates anyway, and she made my semester a lot less stressful. I wanted to hang out with the friends that I did have there, but it was just not going to come to fruition because I had so much work to do. And it's so funny that like in past semesters that would also be my excuse, like, oh, I have so much work to do, and I never really did. Like I had to read books, but for classes that honestly I could have also passed with flying colors. But this semester was a different experience, to say the least, because I had to do so much work. Because if I didn't do the work, then I definitely would have failed. Because there was just so much to take in from so many different classes and so many different texts that I had to read. There was just not enough hours in the day to do what I wanted to do. And if I were to hang out with my friends and to also hang out with my boyfriend constantly, I would have collapsed. Worrying about my class schedule, worrying about housing, worrying about my friends abroad, thinking about internships. And that was like a stress in and of itself. Like it was a beast that I couldn't even define because, you know, I don't even know if I want to take that internship anymore. Like, there's just so much anxiety about everything in my life. I just don't know why. Like, I'm so young and nothing about what I do is worth the stress. I do it all the time and I stress myself out, and now I have really bad anxiety and I will wake up in the morning and my stomach will immediately be in knots, and I'm like, why is that happening? And there's no reason for it. There's absolutely nothing that stresses me out. It's almost like I have like a PTSD of this entire semester because it still happens to me. Like definitely being home makes me so much happier and a lot less stressed out, but I will have moments where I will have really bad anxiety and I'm like, why is this happening? And there really is no reason for it. It's just that I'm completely and utterly stressed out about school, and school's over. Like I kept on having nightmares and sometimes even sleep paralysis about my experience this semester, and I never had sleep paralysis before. Like that's how bad it got. Once again, I don't want to worry anybody because it's gone, but it's just something that I have to deal with. It just messes up your whole life because then you don't want to go out and you're too stressed out to even be a person anymore. It's indescribable, to say the least, and I wish that I didn't have to go through it, but I wonder what type of a person I would be if I wasn't an anxious person. Like, would I actually get anything done? Would I actually have dreams? Would I actually care about anything? And do I want it to be less severe? Absolutely, but I don't want it to be gone at all. So I'm trying to make friends with my anxiety and realize that I need it in my life to propel me forward, because even though it is a mismatch on evolutionary terms to have so much anxiety, it is beneficial to have a little bit of anxiety that drives you to be successful and get rid of the anxiety. Like, nothing gets rid of that stress more than accomplishing the task that stressed you out that much. I've learned to accept it, I've learned to neutralize it at times, and even just like vaguely reminding myself that it's not going to be as bad as I am thinking it's going to be helps a lot. But it's never going to be 100% okay. And that's fine. It's over. The semester is over. I got my grades back in 5 seconds. It was like I stressed and stressed and stressed. I had so much anxiety. I didn't talk to anybody. I was sheltered in my room writing papers up until 4 o'clock in the morning because I had such bad writer's block from all the other papers that I was writing. And my finals came after I handed in my papers, and I finished them, and I walk out of the room and I'm like, it's over. And then another one happened and I'm like, it's over. And then it didn't hit me until like I got my grades back like 5 days later, and then I go home and then summer starts, or you know, obviously it's still spring, but like summer starts and here I am and school's over and I'm almost a senior technically, and I'm like, what happened? It was like my whole life just kind of flashed before my eyes. Now I'm back on YouTube finally, and it feels so good. And I dreaded making this video, but now I'm in the process of making it and I feel like so much better. Even if nobody watches this because it's like 3 hours long and I don't have that big of a following, nobody cares, I still feel really good letting out my feelings, because I'm not good at that. Because I used to do it all the time. It was talk about my feelings and be very transparent about the way that I felt. Because I love talking about my stresses with people, because it did make me feel so much better. But I was doing it so much to the point where I was annoying people. And it's not in the way where it's like, we don't care about you, obviously. It was more so like, you talk about this a lot, aren't you over it yet? And I kind of got that vibe and I just ran with it. And I realized, like, you know, I need to get over things, and I hold grudges too much. And sometimes I'm still like, okay, well, that thing still bothers me, so I'm going to hold on to it. But for the most part, I try to let things go and realize it's done, it's gone, and I just have to move forward. Which, as a Cancer, very, very difficult, but necessary. And I can't just keep on disrespecting others by sobbing and sobbing and sobbing about something that's over. And that's why I was uncomfortable to make this video, because I'm over what happened this semester. I survived, and I will survive another semester. And nothing about what I experienced is not common to the average experience, you know? Everybody has stress at school, especially at college. Like, the memes we see online of, like, people being at a party and then they're having fun and then they remember that they had an assignment due at 11:59 p.m. and they're like, okay. Because that's what college is. It's just forgetting who you are, trying to have fun because everybody says that college is so much fun, and you're trying to embrace that and live that to the fullest extent. And then you also remember that college is not like what it used to be, and the expectations for your college career is so much higher now. You get to be away from home, and that's probably the best thing about it. But certainly, once you're stressed out at school, you're going to try to associate happiness again with being home, and then you have a good time at home. But like, it's fine for about 5 minutes and then you want to go back to school. My happiness is being able to create content and live out my dream and do it the way that I want to do it. I'm tired of thinking that, you know, I need to do something at a certain point in time to be able to achieve my dreams and reach my goals. Like, I have known what I wanted to do since I was 11, and that's enough for me. Because there are some people that have really successful lives that didn't know what they wanted to do for years and are just now figuring it out, and they're in their mid-20s. So, you know what? As long as I know what I want for myself and I continue that aspiration, I am completely fine with how my life is going right now. And yeah, I'm just going to live my life like that. Because now I have a blog, and I will link it down below. And for people that follow me on other social media, particularly Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr as well, you will see that I have posted like 2 things on there already. And I plan on posting a lot more, obviously, but it is like my new little thing, because you know, I'm realizing like, okay, I'm not going to take this internship that would have been good, but is just super sketchy and I don't know if I want really and doesn't really meet the needs that I wanted. And yeah, it sucks like that I stressed out about it so much and about the interview process and all of that. And I did it for nothing, it seems like, but it made me realize like how I want to take care of my own career and my own goals. And it doesn't mean that just because I don't have an internship for next semester lined up that I'm not going to be successful or that I'm not going to get the career that I want or not going to get the job that I want. Because all you have to do is build up a portfolio and you will be as successful as you want to be. Because I do feel like I have a lot to offer in regards to my makeup knowledge and just who I am as a person. I feel like a lot of people could relate to me and what I do. So, yeah, I don't know. I just want to look more professional, and writing is how I do that. And not everybody reads nowadays, that's certainly for sure. As long as I have it up there, I feel accomplished. And my first article about makeup that I just put out has gotten like a lot of likes. A lot for me, especially when I didn't think that anything was going to happen from it. And it just made me happy. And I said, oh, this actually looks like it could be good for me. And so it's inspiring me to just continue doing it. And I have so many ideas for things, and I'm trying to build up that portfolio, like I said, and just create something that I can show an employer and gradually move up there in the writing world and the creative world as well, because now I have multiple different platforms. I have my social media, I have YouTube, I have my formal education. I have so much, and it is just going to be so beneficial for me in the future. And I'm just excited about it, because the last thing that I want to be nervous about in this life is how it's going to go for me, and if I'm going to have a career that gives me a good salary, and if I'm going to be able to write what I want and not just what other people expect of me. So I'm probably going to mention this in a future video too, because I wanted to do a haul video about what I've purchased in my absence, which isn't a ton of stuff, but I do want to like, you know, go over it a little bit. But I am on a current no buy, and Kathleen Lights attempted to do this too. I think also Sarah Chung on YouTube did a video about you know, just decluttering her makeup and only using things that she knew that she would use. So I'm doing a similar thing. I'm not necessarily decluttering, but I'm trying my best to get rid of things that I know that I don't use anymore, and trying not to buy anything else, because I'm just realizing, especially with a lot of the criticisms that I get from, you know, just friends, coworkers, family, that I do have a lot of makeup, and that's kind of defined me. This is gonna be a problem. My makeup has like defined me, and hasn't defined me in the best way, I guess, because people are very upset with how much makeup that I have, and are actually very critical about my financial responsibilities about it. And you know, I am lucky that I don't have any bills that I need to pay, and that I don't have like a car that I need to spend money up for gas on, and I don't have much that I have to pay for. So I don't really understand why people find it ridiculous that I'm spending money on makeup once in a while. And I've just gotten so much criticism, I feel like, from people, and this could be me just holding a grudge again, but it is kind of frustrating So I've kind of internalized it that is more responsible about her finances. That I feel like I'm broke because I'm really not. I don't know, it's a little frustrating that I feel like I have to now censor myself around people. Because like everybody convinces you that it's now a makeup loving society, but it's really not, and it's kind of depressing that I always feel like I have to justify what I do, because I know that makeup isn't necessarily empowering, and it's not, I don't know, it's not the end-all be-all, and it's a hobby. It's not, you know, my career or anything like that, but it's something that I love, and that has made me really happy, and I just feel like I'm constantly being judged for it now. What do I do, you know? Because, like, I know that I don't need any more makeup, and that's why I'm doing the no-buy. For, I don't know, to be determined amount of time, I'm going to stop buying new stuff until I know that I'm in a good place financially, or that I'm in a place where I know that I'm not going to be judged for it. Just a side note, because I think I'm done with that little bit of a rant. But, my skin has gotten a lot better, and I really enjoy my routine. Just my skin has gotten so much better, and that routine is working for me a lot, and it just makes me a little bit happy. So, you know, I could do a lot more with my makeup that I felt like I couldn't do in the past, and, you know, just embracing new stuff about my life. Feels good to be able to do new things. I think I'm gonna do my lower lash line and my brows off of camera, and then I'll come back for the lashes and the lips, and then see if I have any closing remarks. So I'm really not sure what happened to my eyebrows, but we're just gonna go along with it because we're at the end of the video anyway. So I've talked about a lot of stuff in this video, and I just want to let you know that I'm back, but I also kind of wanted to let people know that something with school could always come up, and that school could take away from my videos sometimes and the content that I create, and I just want people to be aware of that. There are some YouTubers that are in school or just graduated, and they are able to post videos like every day, and I don't know how they do it, but I am not like other YouTubers, and I definitely don't have the complete skill that they have, or the time and the energy or the support from people that drives them to be able to do stuff like that. So I just wanted to make that clear that, like, in the future, that absence that I took could happen again, and I don't want people to be concerned. Not that I think anybody will be, because I would be active on social media probably, but if I'm not active on YouTube, then it's because videos are very exhausting. They take a lot of energy, they take a lot of time, and they take complete, like, focus and time alone as well. I will try my best to do what I love still, which is YouTube and writing, and get stuff up for you guys. It shouldn't be that difficult to make time outside of work to be able to do this like I'm doing now. So, alright, and that's that. And that's where I've been, and that's what I've been doing. And I don't know, I hope that this was inspiring to some people too, about following your dreams and prioritizing what you have to do with your life, and not feeling discouraged about things, and not letting your anxiety get in the way of wanting to pursue what you want to pursue, and just having a better work ethic in general. If you watched this entire thing, thank you, and I appreciate it. I hope it's not gonna be too long, but yeah, thank you for supporting my content and supporting my journey, and check out my blog if you haven't already, and let me know what you think about it so far. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.